Guys, I hope all of you are doing great. In this video, we are going to discuss our question isomorphic string. So in the input, we are given two strings S1 and S2. We are required to determine whether these strings are isomorphic or not. If yes, they are isomorphic, we are required to return true. If not, if that is not the case, we are going to simply return false. Now, let's discuss the conditions when our string is not an isomorphic string. So let's see, right? These are the conditions that is given to us. Okay, let's talk about it. Alright, so we are given two strings, S1 and S2. Okay, so what we have to simply do, we have to map each character of string 1 and string 2, right, in such a way that we map every character to only one character, right? And all occurrence of a character must be replaced. What does that mean? That if here I am replacing a with x, here also I should replace a with x. Okay, okay, that's nice. And a character of S1 can only map to one character. Okay, what does that mean? That here if you have mapped a with x, then here you can't map e with x2 because you have already mapped x. Okay, so these are the few conditions that is given to us, right? Also, one more very important thing, that length of s1 is equal to the length of s2. So it is given to us that length of both string is equal. So if the length of string are not equal, then that automatically means they are not isomorphic. Why is that? Because we can't map every character of string 1. Why is that? Let's see. Because let's say we got a string egg egg, and we got another string rs2 that is a. So we can map a with e, we can map e with a, but we can't map g because there are no characters left. So if that is the case, then also it is not isomorphic, and that case is handled, right? Now let's see what is happening with this string. Is this isomorphic or not? So here a, right, a is mapped with x. Okay, so a is mapped with x, perfect. B is mapped with y, b is mapped with y. Okay, that is fine. C is mapped with z, c is mapped with z. Okay, now we come at a is mapped with x. Yes, that is right, that is right, because that condition should be true. It should be preserved that earlier a was mapped with x, so here also a is mapped with x. Earlier b was mapped with y, here also b is mapped with y. Earlier c was mapped with z, here also c is mapped with z. And here d is a new character, right, and it is mapped with m, right, and we have not used m before, so that is also fine. That means all the conditions are matching. So what that indicates, that this is an isomorphic string. So what we have to do, we have to simply return true. Okay, now let's see some example when our string is not isomorphic string. Okay, so here this is our string 1, this is our string 2. Okay, so we are at a is mapped with x, a is mapped with x. Okay, perfect. B is mapped with y. Okay, again a is mapped with x, that's fine. Here also, and in the earlier also a was mapped with x, so that is fine. Now again a, but this time a is mapped with z, but earlier we marked a with x, so here in this case a is mapped with a different character. Like different character, it should be marked with x, but it is marked with a different character. So if that's the case, that means it is not matching the isomorphic conditions that were mentioned. So what that means, that this is not a isomorphic string, and we have to simply return false. Are you getting me why this is not a isomorphic string? Because here our character a is mapped with another character, to the one it was mapped before. Earlier it was mapped with x, but now it is mapped with a different character, that is z. So this is not a isomorphic string. Okay, now let's see another example when our string is not isomorphic. So again, we are given two strings, string 1 and string 2. Let's say how the mapping is this time. So A is mapped with M. Okay, A is mapped with M. B is mapped with N. Fine. C is mapped with O. Okay. Now, A is mapped with M. Yes, earlier also A was mapped with M. That is fine. B is mapped with N. Earlier also B was mapped with N. That's fine. E is a new character. Okay. And it is mapped with P. We have not used P. We have not marked anyone with P yet. So that is also fine. E is marked with P. Now, important case. F. We get F. F is mapped with M. Right? You must be wondering, that is valid. No, that is of course not valid, because here F is mapped with M and we have already used M. Right? F is a new character and it is mapped with M that we have already used here, as you can see. So if that's the case, then also it is not a isomorphic string because we have already used this. Right? So that means it is not a isomorphic string. We have to return false. Okay. So till now, you must have gotten that there are two major cases that we have to think about. One is that which character is mapped with which character, right? That if character of string 1 is mapped with A in if a character of string 1 is mapped with X, let's say A is mapped with X, so again A should be mapped with X only. So one is this case and the other case that the mapped character should not be repeated. For example, here we mapped A with M, so we can't map F with M because we have already used M, right? We have already mapped a character with M. Okay, so how will we handle these two cases? Let's see. For that, we will be requiring two hash maps. Yes, two hash maps. So our first map, I'm going to call it map 1. Okay, so what will be the map type? What it will be storing? So map 1 will be storing characters of both string. So will store character of our string 1 and string 2. What about map 2? What will map 2 store? Let's see. Map 2 will store character of string 2 and boolean. What does that mean? Let's see. So here it will make sure that which character of string 2 I have used, because if I've already used a character, I can't reuse it, right? Or string 2, right? So that's why we'll be requiring two maps. Let's see how will the map help us. Okay, so first we are at the first character of our string 1, right? And our map don't contain it, so we are going to simply put it in our map, right, with the character that it is mapped with A with X. Okay, now we are at B and we check that B is not mapped with anyone, and the character that B is mapped with, we have not used that character, right? Also here when we map A with X, we have to make sure that in the second map we add X and mark it true. Why we are doing it, you will eventually get to know it, but we are doing it because we don't map any other character with X again. Okay, now we get at B and we map B with Y. Okay, and of course we are mapping B with Y. Y is a new character, right? So we have to mark Y with true. Okay, now we come at C. We check that our map don't contain C, right? And we are not using Z. We have not marked any character with Z, right? We are checking that with the help of map 2. So it is safe to put it. So we put it in our hash map C and Z, and here we mark Z true. That we have mapped Z with a character. Okay, now we are at here, and here we have checked that our map contains A. Yes, our map contains A. Then what we check? Then which character our map is marked with, right? So we check that our map is marked with X. So here also the character should be X. And yes, it is right. So that is matching the condition. We'll move further. Now we are at this B. Again, we check that our map contains B or not. Yes, our map contains B. Then we are going to check it is mapped with which character? It is mapped with Y. Here also it is mapped with Y, so that's perfectly fine. We are going to move further. Now we are at C. Here we check that C is present in our hash map. Yes, it is present in our hash map. So what is the value? It is Z. Here also it is Z. So that's completely fine. We are going to move further. Now let's see the moment you are waiting for. So here we are at D. We are at D. Now we check our map contains D or not. No, our map don't contain D. Now what we have to check? That whichever character that D is mapped with, is it present in our map too? That have we used this X earlier? Have we mapped this X with someone earlier or not? And we check, and yes, our X is present in the map too. So that means we have already mapped this X. So that means this is not an isomorphic string, and we will simply return false. So I hope you are understanding how our map 1 and map 2 are helping us. Now let's code it. The code is simple, just the way we discussed. Alright. So what will be required is to map to an ordered map. Of what type? First is of character and character. Right. I'm gonna call it map. And the second unordered map will store character of second string and boolean, whether we have used it or not. I'm gonna call it map2. Okay, now that we know the length of both strings are equal as it is mentioned here. So what we are gonna do is run a for loop for int I is equal to 0, I is less than string dot size I plus plus. So what we will do first, we are gonna extract the value, right? We are gonna extract the value of both string. So char ch1, I'm gonna call it char is equal to string 1 I, right? SI, and the second string char ch2 equal to ti. We are extracting the character of the respective index, right? Now there are two conditions primarily. What are those conditions? Let's talk about. So whether the character is already present in our hash map or the character is not present in our hash map. So let's see what we are going to do for both the conditions. Okay. So if map dot find character 1 is not equal to map dot end, right? So what is this condition? It means if our map contains that character, right? So if that's the case, we are going to do something. If our map don't contain that character, then we are going to do something. So if our map contains the character, then we are going to check if the value of the character, right, is equal to that character. If it is not equal to that character, the character is character 2. Then we are going to simply return false. Now let's understand this line, what we are doing. So we are checking. We are simply checking. Let's see. Let me get to the previous slide. So here, what we are checking, we are at this character, right? Then we are checking what is the value we have assigned to our A. So we have assigned X to it. So now we are going to check if here in the string 2, this is our string 2, X is present or not. Here Z is present, right? So that means X is not equal to Z. So that is not isomorphic. We are simply returning false. Else, let's discuss about the else case. So what is the else case? That if we have used the character or not. So if map 2 this time dot find character 2 is not equal to map 2 dot end. So what this condition indicates, if our map 2 holds, if our map 2 contains that character, what does that mean? That we have already used that character. So if that's the case, that we have already used that character, we are simply gonna return false, right? Else, it is safe to put that character. It is a new character and we can map a value to it. So what we are going to do is map it, map dot put character 1, character 2, right? And then we have to also mark it in our second map, map 2, not put here, sorry, map 2, map character 1 is equal to ch2. Okay, small syntax error, of course. and map to character 2 is equal to, you can do anything, true or false, that doesn't matter, because we are basically checking here that it contains that or not. So here I am writing true. Okay, right. And then we are going to check, we are, if any of this condition is not false, then of course it's isomorphic, and I'm going to simply return true. Okay, I'm going to simply return true. So let's quickly review our code, what we did. Okay, so we created a hash map of character type to check which character is mapped with which character, right, of string 1 and string 2, and another map to check if we have used that character or not, if we have mapped that character already or not. Then we simply traverse, we extracted the character here, then we check if our map contains that character already. If it contains, then we are going to check if it is not equal to the value that we assigned it to earlier, that we mapped it to earlier. If not, we are going to simply return false, right? Then here in the else case, that means we got a new character that our map already don't contain. Then we checked that have we already mapped it, we have already mapped the character of string 2. If that's the case, we return false, and else we mapped a character to it, right? We mapped a character and marked it true. So let's try running it. It's giving an error. Let's fix the error. 19th line, right? If map2 dot find character 2 is not equal to map2 dot end, right? What else? Let's try running it again. It was missing a, yeah, perfect. Now let's try submitting it. Perfect, passed all the test cases. So that's it for this video. It was a very interesting and simple question. I hope you did like the explanation. If you liked it, do not forget to like, comment and share. Thanks for watching.